Hi, we're Derek and Jonathan.
If you're dreaming of turquoise water, quiet beaches, and swimming with sea turtles, you're in the right place.
We spent 3 days exploring Virgin Islands National Park and packed in as much hiking history and reef time as we could.
But first, where even is this place?
Virgin Islands National Park is on the island of St. John, part of the U.S. Virgin Islands in the Caribbean. It's about 40 miles east of Puerto Rico, and it's part of the United States, so no passports are needed.
Nearly 2/3 of St. John is protected parkland, a mix of tropical forests, historic ruins, and some of the clearest water we've ever seen.
There's no airport on St. John, so to get here, we flew into nearby St. Thomas, rented a car, and took the ferry over.
We explored the island top to bottom, and in this video, we're sharing our entire experience to help you plan your own adventure to Virgin Islands National Park.
Be sure to watch till the end because we'll share all the tips and tricks we learned during our time here.
And if you end up finding this video useful, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. It really helps us out.
Now that that's out of the way, welcome to Virgin Islands National Park. We're in St. Thomas.
We have our rental car.
Although the seat is on the left side of the car.
Yes, looks normal, right? But I have to drive on the left side of the road.
So that's gonna be fun. So we're really excited for that.
And of course it's in my name, so I have to drive out a lot.
At least for now. I'll drive later, because I'm better at driving, period.
I'm better at passengering.
Let's just take a left to make sure you're on the left.
I did it. Look at this. As long as I'm following people, I got this. So St. Thomas is like a major cruise port. So I got 3 cruise ships in today. I'm still successfully driving on the left-hand side of the road, in case anyone's wondering. Alright, so Jonathan's driving now. We have made it to the ferry that's going to take our rental car and us from St. Thomas over to St. John. It's behind us now.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Yeah. So they make you back up here, one in front of the other, and then you back into the barge. I think they should probably have like a driver's test for some people. Have you seen some people trying to parallel park? Like my mom? Well done, Jonathan. Well done. So a few words of advice if you're taking the barge, ferry, or whatever with your vehicle from St. Thomas over to St. John. There are 2 ferries that go from there. 2 companies, yes. Red Barge and then whatever barge we're on now. We booked Red Barge in advance, just trying to be proactive. We booked like a round trip, right?
Yes.
$50 there, $15 back. And we got here and they tell you where to go, you back up and they go to collect your fee. We told them we had already paid. He's like, this is not the Red Barge. So we're on a completely different company's ferry now. So we owe them $50 as well. Maybe don't book in advance. It really depends on what time you end up getting here.
There is no reason to really book in advance. It doesn't guarantee you a spot. Like it says that on the ticket when you buy it. If you don't show up an hour early from whenever it's about to take off, you might not get on it. We just happened to park, what, 10 minutes later, we backed onto a barge.
It's very easy.
No one asked, 1, where we're going, or 2, like, what boat we bought for. Nobody cares.
We are relieved to be going to the right island.
So we're at least going to the right island.
The other really important thing, this barge, which is not the Red Barge, you can't speak with the Red Barge, is cash only. We don't have $50 cash, so they took one of our driver's licenses. So as soon as we get there, we gotta leave the vehicle, run to an ATM, and then come back and pay them $50. After paying our ferry debt, we went to Reef Bay, St. John's main port of entry, to check into our hotel and relax for the night. So today, we're doing the Reef Bay Trail, which starts on Centerline Road and winds through this tropical forest here. It brings you to Reef Bay, where there are some snorkeling opportunities. You can go swimming. Along the way, oh, see, we have our snorkeling gear, as Jonathan is modeling. Towards the end of the trail, there's this like trail spur to get to the petroglyphs. So that's where we're at now. We're gonna go see what that's all about. This is day 1 of our Virgin Islands National Park adventure.
Yeah. I think that's Hawaii. Is that an island thing?
It is now.
The Reef Bay Trail winds through this tropical landscape and is the longest hike in the national park with the most elevation gain.
It's a 4-mile out and back trail. So like 2 miles there, 2 miles back. 1,000 feet elevation gain, most of it on the way back. So the way there is really easy. We should also mention, Reef Bay is on the far southern end of the national park. There's no road there, there's no other way to get there than this trail. So we'll let you know if it's worth it. So we've made it to the petroglyphs. The petroglyphs themselves are over here on this rock. Jonathan, do you mind Vanna Whiting this for us? Those are the petroglyphs on that rock. And they're particularly famous because this pool that they're right in front of can like perfectly reflect them at times.
I think with the right amount of water and if there's more mist coming from the waterfall, it'll go.
Oh, it goes on the rocks and you can really see them. Very beautiful. So in Florida, you may be familiar with the lizards running out in front of you as you walk down paths and sidewalks. Here in St. John, it's hermit crabs. As we're walking down this trail, they're like everywhere.
They curl up in little balls and
they fall down hills. As you get closer to the ocean, it's like a minefield. What's he doing? He's telling his friends, stay out of here.
there are even cooler ruins all the way at the end of the trail where you can explore what's left of the Reef Bay sugar mill.
This was one of the last active sugar operations on the island.
At its peak, it processed sugarcane grown right here in the valley, most of it harvested by enslaved laborers under Danish colonial rule.
You can still walk through the old boiling room, where a series of large metal pans once reduced cane juice into crystallized sugar.
Nature has mostly taken over, but the structures are surprisingly intact.
The mill was constructed with whatever was available: coral, rock, shells, and sometimes imported brick. This is an unexpected highlight.
It's pretty cool on this hike.
We're usually not that into ruins and stuff like that.
Not at all, but this is cool, yeah. You can actually imagine how it worked. They explain it pretty well in the little placards.
They don't glorify it or anything like that. It's just an honest representation of the history of this place.
Alright, final part of the trail before we get to the beach.
This is not what we were expecting. Right out of the path here, you just walk out and bam, drops off, beach. Very narrow beach.
This is the most isolated beach on St. John, so we made sure to bring some food so we wouldn't get hungry.
St. John is known for having a pretty good food scene. So we researched all the good restaurants and everything when you get here. One of the places that comes up is St. John's Provision. St. John Provision, something like that. They have a bunch of sandwiches, breakfast food. I got the turkey Havarti. Look at this, comes on house-made focaccia. Looks amazing.
I had a BLT.
Jonathan got a BLT.
Simple.
Simple, looks great. Perfect beach food. Very surprised by how few people are here on a Saturday.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Very, very nice. We didn't get to the trailhead early, I would say.
No, it was 9 a.m.?
No, are you kidding? We got there around 10:30 by the time we got breakfast and everything.
Oh yeah.
And there were only like 4 other cars there. Most of the people passed us on the way back.
Yes.
The water is warm,
The water feels
crystal
great.
clear. I'm excited to get in after we eat.
All right.
We'll try to bring you with us. Hopefully you're waterproof.
I think you are. Reef Bay isn't known as a top snorkel spot, but you might luck out and catch a few sea turtles or stingrays cruising the seagrass.
We found some rocky outcroppings on either side of the bay where we found tons of little reef fish. Next up, the Windmill Bar.
St. John's famous Windmill Bar is located right on Centerline Road, and if you're looking for a good drink with an even better view, it's impossible to beat.
Perched on the hill above Cruise Bay, it overlooks the ruins of an old Danish windmill and faces west, so the sunsets here are unreal.
The bar's got live music, casual food, and a laid-back local vibe.
If you come to the Windmill Bar in a Jeep, they'll make you park here with all the other Jeeps.
On day 3, we set out to explore the eastern side of St. John, starting with Ramhead.
What are you doing? Good morning. So today, we're hiking Ram's Head Point and to check out Salt Pond, and then there's a reef off of Salt Pond Bay that we're gonna go snorkeling after. So that's our plan. We've made it to Salt Pond Beach. This is where the actual reef is. We'll go snorkeling later, somewhere out there.
This is beautiful. So when you get here, there's one restroom building right there. That's the parking lot's right behind it. You walk along the beach. And then there's this trail that we're gonna follow to Ramhead. And it's absolutely beautiful. Look at the color of this water.
This is the most vibrant color we've seen so far.
Yeah, this color is pretty awesome, even without sunglasses.
We've arrived at Blue Cobblestone Beach. What's this beach here? Look at these rocks though, seriously, look at this. Like, it's pretty blue. Look at my shit for comparison's sake.
We gotta go up there. That's Ramhead. So that's our goal. For now, I'm gonna make sure I don't trip.
Gotta watch your ankles here.
Finally making our way up the Ramhead. I think the last little peak, mountain, whatever you want to call this hill. There's Derek. He's talking at the same time, so we'll match this audio to him looking at these funny looking things.
So along this trail, you can see tons of cacti. All these things protruding. I don't know. Any cacti experts out there know what this is?
Ramhead is located in the dry, desert-like southeast corner of the island, a huge contrast from the rest of St. John.
The area is rich with cacti, wild goats, and the striking blue and turquoise water.
Historically, Ramhead was a refuge for enslaved Africans who fled plantations.
In the 1700s, some are said to have jumped from these very cliffs rather than face capture and enslavement. Alright, so we're here on Ram's Head. We came to the farthest point. This place is beautiful. Highly recommend it. It's a little further than we thought, like 1.25 miles to come out here. But it's gorgeous. So the US Virgin Islands are comprised of 4 islands. There's St. Thomas, where the airport is. There's St. John, where we are. That's where the national park is. There's St. Croix. And then there's a 4th one. I don't remember what it's called. We'll put it here.
St. Martin?
Maybe. You get really elevated at the end and like you can really see everything all around you. It's not one of those viewpoints that's covered by
like forest
and vegetation. Like you really get a good 360 view of the area.
It's great.
Time to go snorkeling.
We made our way back down to Salt Pond Bay and changed from our hiking shoes to some snorkel fins.
This was some of the clearest water and best snorkeling conditions we experienced while in the national park.
Almost immediately, we found our first sea turtle.
Now, we've seen sea turtles before in Hawaii, but we've never had the opportunity to swim with them before.
Hands down, this was one of our favorite national park experiences ever.
There are just no words to describe what it's like to swim with a sea turtle. On the way back from Ramhead, we stopped at John's Folly Beach, a local favorite. Super quiet and much less manicured than the North Shore beaches.
It's great for snorkeling and offers a more natural, untouched beach experience.
Also, it's technically outside of the national park, so it's perfect for a good drone flight. All right, we're continuing on here. The next beach we're going to is North Haulover Beach. Not the nude beach in Miami. It's a beach here on St. John still. It's in the half in the national park, half outside the national park on the eastern side of the island. It's supposed to be some phenomenal snorkeling. So we are gonna continue our snorkeling adventure here. Also, to add to our animal count, since yesterday we've seen goats, we've seen donkeys, wild donkeys. Hi. A lot of underwater stuff. We've seen sea turtles, a stingray, that was really cool. Kind of stayed far away from that one. What else?
Needlefish.
Oh yeah, a lot of needlefish. Ooh, we saw a school of squid.
Squid?
Yeah, and they were changing their color. I could see the color on their backs changing as they were communicating. Super cool. So we'll see what we see here. Hopefully it's calm and not too windy.
We'd heard that North Haulover has one of the best reefs on St. John.
This is not a beach for sunbathing or casual swimming. It's all about the snorkeling here.
The conditions weren't great when we went, windy and rough, but we still saw a ton of fish. And the reef structure here is incredible, way deeper than Salt Pond Bay, and the coral is everywhere.
We were out here alone for over an hour on a holiday weekend. Haulover isn't the easiest beach to get to, and that's exactly why it's so quiet.
From above, you can really see how narrow this stretch of land is. Just a thin strip separating North and South Haulover beaches.
Now, if you're looking for a place to relax, South Haulover is the better pick. Calm water, less rocky, and a great spot to just float around.
On the way back to Cruz Bay, we decided to make one last snorkeling stop at Maho Bay along the North Shore, one of the most popular beaches in the park.
And for good reason. It's the best beach on St. John to reliably see sea turtles. Now we're at Maho Bay. Sea turtle place.
Sea turtles love Maho Bay because of all the seagrass. It's basically their favorite food. Unlike reef-heavy spots, this shallow bay is full of soft seagrass beds, which is like an all-you-can-eat buffet for green sea turtles.
You'll often spot them grazing peacefully near the bottom, coming up for air every few minutes. They're super chill and don't mind if you quietly float or swim nearby. Just give them the space and never touch or chase them.
We saw at least a half dozen cruising through the bay, including one massive one with the suckerfish hitching a ride on its shell.
Stingrays love Maho Bay for the same reason snorkelers do. Calm, shallow water. With a sandy bottom full of little crustaceans and clams, it's a prime feeding ground for them.
Back on shore, we spotted this prehistoric-looking ghost crab with a claw bigger than its entire body. On our last full day, we decided to go beach hopping along the North Shore.
But first, we started with the Cruz Bay Visitor Center, which is closed on the weekends and has limited hours.
They have this really cool map that helped us visualize the island a little better.
Today we're starting the day at Hawk's Nest Beach, which supposedly has some of the best snorkeling.
Hawk's Nest is one of St. John's most accessible beaches. It's close to Cruz Bay and right off the main road with plenty of parking.
It's a favorite among locals for morning swims, and it's typically less touristy than Trunk Bay. Wow. There's Jonathan. He sees something. Let's see what he found.
The snorkeling conditions here were absolutely perfect.
And the reef here is awesome, filled with coral, all sorts of fish, nurse sharks, and of course, sea turtles.
We even made a friend. This little guy swam with us for about 15 minutes.
Impressions of Hawk's Nest?
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Epic.
Epic. I think that's about right. So after Hawk's Nest this morning, we wanted to go to Trunk Bay or Cinnamon Bay. The parking lot for both of them were packed. So we ended up going back to Maho Bay, where you're guaranteed to see sea turtles. We did not see any sea turtles. Today. We did yesterday, not today. But it's a beautiful beach. They have like food trucks and places where you can get some food along the beach. So it's just an easy place to
There's
find
also
parking.
like rentals, there's a bar.
It's a large beach with some concessions there.
It's
More
great.
parking than any of the other ones.
Yes.
So we took advantage of it, went back there for like an hour, saw a giant starfish. The thing was huge. Stingray, school of fish. Saw some cool stuff, even though we didn't see a sea turtle. But even though you're told you're guaranteed to see sea turtles there, you're not. You're not.
There was a lot of people in the water, so
Yeah.
I think most of the stuff that we saw yesterday when it was quiet in the afternoon, they weren't going to swim around.
Right.
But I say wait till like 4 or 5 o'clock or whenever sunset is.
They're
That's the
there
time.
for sure, but maybe just not in the middle of the day. So now we're going to try our luck at Trunk Bay and see if the parking lot's any better. But that does look like the smallest parking lot. It's supposed to be one of the world's best 10 beaches. So parking at Trunk Bay Beach was unsuccessful. So now we're here at Cinnamon Bay Beach. We found parking on the road. So we've learned some very interesting facts about St. John and Virgin Island National Park since we've been here. For example, Windmill Bar, one of the very popular bars here, is currently owned by descendants of the slaves that used to like work at the plantation that was there in the 1700s. I thought that was pretty cool.
That is cool.
Anyway,
You don't see that often.
You don't. So this is the nicest beach we've been to. Once you get to the beach, go to the right. It's a little quieter. It's still busy, but...
It's further away from that.
Yeah. Our impressions of Cinnamon Bay Beach.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. In terms of like beaches to hang out at all day and just swim around in the water, this is the best one we've seen. We couldn't find a spot at Trunk Bay. I'm sure it looks just as beautiful. There's like an overlook where you can see it. It looks beautiful. But we're here. And like I can see where it ends there. And then if I turn the camera, I mean, you can kind of see where it ends. Like it's a very big beach is my point. But in terms of snorkeling and reefs, I do not think this is the place to go. I don't think there is a reef here. This is a swimming beach.
I don't see any snorkels in here. I see a couple.
Maybe, but I don't even, looking at the water, you can usually see where the reef is. There's like dark patches. You're gonna really see that here. It's all turquoise, crystal clear. So we left Cinnamon Bay Beach. Trunk Beach parking lot was still totally full. But we found this overlook where you can see Trunk Bay Beach.
It's so pretty.
It's beautiful.
It's probably the most beautiful here.
Yeah, probably. And that says a lot. There's also an underwater snorkeling trail that I think goes around a portion of that island you can see there.
An underwater trail?
Yeah. We read that of all the snorkeling places here in Virgin Islands National Park, it's not the best. But it's unique in that it's an underwater trail. So check it out. If you're able to find the parking, honestly.
The parking's the toughest.
Like, look at all the people down there. There's not enough parking spots for all those people. So I think a lot of people stay in town and take a cab out here.
Take the taxi or get here early.
Yeah. You ready for dinner?
I'm ready.
For our final night, we had dinner at Zozo's, one of the most iconic fine dining experiences on St. John.
This restaurant is tucked into the old sugar mill ruins at Caneel Bay, and getting there is part of the adventure.
You park up top, take a shuttle down the hill, and walk the final few steps straight into paradise.
Zozo's is an upscale restaurant with a front row seat to the sunset.
It's all about the setting. Coastal views, candlelight, and open-air dining right above the water.
It's upscale, yes, but not stuffy. The vibe is relaxed and the food lives up to the hype.
Reservations are a must, and it's not cheap. But if you're celebrating something or just want to end your trip with a wow moment, this is the place. All right, we're on the ferry. We're headed back to St. Thomas. Our vacation is officially over.
We have a 30-minute ferry ride left.
Our time in St. John is officially over. This is definitely one of our favorite national parks.
It was great. We had a really good time. The island is beautiful. Come in January.
Come in the winter, mid-80s,
Yeah.
beautiful weather. The water is refreshing but still warm.
So ferry information. On the way out, it is a holiday weekend, so it seems like everyone's leaving today. We got here pretty early for a noon flight. We got here at 8 a.m. There is now a lot of traffic for people to get off, and it's 9 a.m. now, so give yourself time to get off the island.
It's easy, it's just a time-consuming process, so don't plan to just hop on. We hopped on the ferry very quickly to get here.
It wasn't the same
Don't
experience getting
assume
off.
the same experience going back.
So the ferry ride between St. Thomas and St. John takes 30 minutes. So add that to your time whenever you are making your travel plans.
And there is no schedule, so don't plan to look it up online. I wouldn't waste your time booking it in advance because there's more than one company, as I think we had mentioned before. It's not easy to determine which one you're even getting on. I think right now we're on the big red barge, but it's neither big nor red, right? There was a large
there's another
big red one that we are not on.
Actually red.
So it's like, I don't know how to distinguish which one you're on until you're on it.
So don't pay in advance, have cash on you, and then just go with the flow. everyone's on island time here, so which means
late.
you're late.
Which means late.
If you are one that needs to be on time or on
early,
point,
that's on you.
It's on you. It is on you. Make sure you give yourself plenty of time to travel around, even on the roads. Today, just trying to get breakfast, all of a sudden there's traffic. What happened? Kids are going to school, so they just like kind of slow down traffic a lot. You don't see traffic on this island, but I guess in front of a school,
You would.
you would.
All right, expectations about the island. Plan to stay here. I wouldn't plan to do this in a day. You're not really going to do the national park justice if you come in a day. So plan to stay. There's lots of little inns. There's lots of
villas, Airbnbs, VRBOs, hotels. There's a fancy Westin on the other side of the island too.
Tons of options.
Whatever your budget is. There's actually a campground as well in this national park.
Yes, at Cinnamon Bay. It looked amazing. What a place to stay.
Yeah.
Wildlife. We've always talked about like the places where we've seen the most wildlife, probably Rocky Mountain National Park, Glacier, Yellowstone, right? You see a ton of wild. You see the big game animals like the bear and the bison. Obviously, you're not going to see bear and bison here, but I would say we saw more wildlife in this national park than we have in any other national park.
Underwater.
Most of it underwater.
We did see a donkey.
We saw a donkey.
We saw goats.
Mongoose.
That was a
cool.
good one.
I've never seen a mongoose before. Underwater is where you really
see everything.
We saw sea turtles, stingrays, nurse sharks, so many fish, aquarium type fish.
It was spectacular. If you've never been snorkeling, this is a great snorkeling experience.
Snorkeling gear and equipment. We read online that you should bring your own and that rentals here are not guaranteed. Maybe that's true for some times of the year, not right now. Rentals were plentiful at multiple locations.
We went to a location, they had everything, whether you wanted the traditional snorkel and mask or the full face mask, which we each did something different. I enjoyed the full face mask. It was very easy for me. I could dive with it, so it was simple.
I like a traditional like face mask and snorkel setup. They have new ones that like have stoppers so the air doesn't come in when you dive down. I like the ones that like you have to spit out the water like you're a whale. So they have all those options there. We rented specifically from a dive shop
called Beach Bum.
Great store.
It was great.
We'll put the link in the description. We literally went there every single day of the vacation.
Did we really?
We did. Every day we went, the staff was different. We never talked to the same person twice, but they were all super friendly, super helpful. The first day we went, we picked up all the equipment. She pulled out a map. She marked all the dive spots, told us exactly where to go, like where the reefs were, which direction to go in, because otherwise you're just swimming around underwater. You didn't really know where to see stuff.
Right.
So that was really helpful.
It was very helpful because once you get to a beach, you can know, do I go to the right or do I go to the left? Where do I go?
Saves you a lot of time. The next day we went, I switched my mask. We ended up buying some clothes, talked to a different person, super helpful about dinner choices. We ended up going out to Lime Inn as a result. Another great spot for food, drinks. And then I ended up going back to, I forget why, for something else.
We bought you a sun shirt.
Oh yeah, I got a little sunburn. There's a lot of sun here. That's a separate tip.
Yeah,
Bring sunscreen. You need sunscreen. There's
and
so much sun, you're going to be snorkeling, your back is exposed.
You need Reef Safe sunscreen specifically. Yes. They have the little logo usually on it that says Reef Safe, so we bought some of that. Driving on the island is fun if you like driving on mountainous, windy roads.
Added bonus or challenge, it's on the left side of the road.
It's on the left side. You get really used to it. I will say, this is the first time I've driven on the left side of the road. The steering wheel is still on the left side.
That's normal.
Like the United States, or we are in the United States, like on the mainland. It's when you're by yourself on the road and you make a turn.
You forget immediately.
That's, your brain just goes, I'm making a turn. I'm supposed to be on the right side of the road. Just make sure your passenger is always
should be paying
attention and going like, you're driving on the left, drive on the left. The car says drive on the left. Everything says drive on the left. The road has arrows, so like there's quick reminders for you that you need to stay on the left. But in no situation where we were like, oh crap, it's just no. You just kind of go with the flow.
I will say the roads themselves, if you've ever driven in like South America, like Costa Rica, where the roads are extremely windy, extremely steep, that is the situation here. If it were to be raining, some of them would be dangerous. It'd be
a little slippery. Roundabouts are the other way around.
Yes, because you're on the left side, so everything's a little backwards. But you do get used to it. You do. So one thing I think worth mentioning that I've never seen before, other than the drive on the left side, is this sticker right under it. Could you read that?
Please be considerate. Sand and salt water will rot the interior. Brush excess sand off before entering vehicle. Wet seats are subject to $200 charge for cleaning and drying.
So,
most rentals, if you go to a beach, You don't even care about being wet.
We read this after putting our snorkel equipment, just throwing it in the back seat and realizing it was covered with like coarse sand and everything, and like the whole thing was covered in sand. Like that's when we read this and was like, oh, now we got to clean the vehicle. So we did. Be mindful.
Yeah.
We take it back. They do kind of have a schedule, or at least the big red barge. This appears to be the schedule. So there you go. Anyway, thanks for joining us here at Virgin Islands National Park. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell.
Yeah. Otherwise, you'll never see us again. Bye.
You can tuck it.